Welcome back to the Nomis Hunter, the place where mystery, excitement, and unbelievable discoveries in the world of rare coins come alive. And today's story will shake your beliefs about what a tiny piece of metal can be worth, because we are diving deep into the unbelievable tale of the 1982 P1 dime that collectors whisper about. A coin that has stunned experts and fueled endless curiosity as rumors and reports link it to a staggering $73 million in value due to the combination of its shocking mint errors, hidden mistakes, and the extraordinary circumstances that make it one of the most mind-blowing accidental treasures in U.S. minting history. And as you settle in, get ready for a long, detailed, and immersive explanation, because once you understand the rare events, misstrikes, metal issues, and production anomalies behind this coin, you will never look at your change the same way again, and you will probably find yourself checking every dime that comes into your hands just in case destiny decides to surprise you with the discovery of a lifetime. Because the story of the 1982p dime begins at a time when the Philadelphia Mint was operating at extremely high pressure, producing millions of dimes daily. But even with advanced machinery and strict checks, perfection can slip, and in that tiny gap between precision and failure, legends like this are born. And what makes this particular dime so fascinating is the perfect storm of potential errors that numismatists believe could exist in extremely rare examples, from off-center strikes that throw the entire design off balance, to double dies where the image is duplicated due to slight misalignment in the hubbing process, creating ghost-like outlines around Roosevelt's profile or the date, to striking on the wrong planchet where the coin is accidentally minted on metal mint for another denomination, possibly a foreign coin blank, which creates a weight and composition anomaly that could drive collectors wild. And even though the 1982p dime is common as a regular circulation coin, the whispers about unique varieties, particularly those made under abnormal conditions, created the foundation for the multi-million-dollar valuation myth. And when you dig deeper, you discover that 1982 itself was a turbulent year for coin production because the U.S. Mint was undergoing transitions, tweaking processes, experimenting with different equipment calibrations, and dealing with the challenge of maintaining consistent quality across millions of strikes. And whenever the mint is under stress and the speed of production outpaces the ability to thoroughly inspect every piece, that is when the door opens for errors that slip into circulation unnoticed, waiting decades to be discovered by someone with a sharp eye and a bit of luck. So imagine a 1982p dime that escaped with a dramatic off-metal error. One struck on a copper-nickel planchet of the wrong size or the wrong alloy, making its weight inconsistent with a standard dime and its appearance slightly different under magnification. Or imagine a broad strike error where the retaining collar failed during minting, causing the coin to expand beyond normal dimensions while still holding the design. Or a double-struck error where the coin wasn't properly ejected after the first strike and received a second impact, creating overlapped images that can increase value exponentially. And add to this the possibility of a missing mint mark, anomaly, or an overstamped die impression overlapping with remnants of a retired die pattern, producing a spectacular hybrid imprint that should never exist under normal mint conditions. And as collectors share stories and theories online, the legend of a single 1982p dime with a combination of these extreme errors grew into the belief that if such a coin were ever found in pristine condition, its theoretical auction value could explode into the tens of millions. And that is where the jaw-dropping $73 million figure comes in, fueled by speculation about rarity multiplied by error severity, multiplied by condition, multiplied by collector demand, multiplied by the impact of a once-in-a-generation discovery. And while no one has yet confirmed the existence of this exact error combination, the possibility remains enough to ignite global excitement. Because the rarest error coins in history often come from unexpected years, unexpected mints, and unexpected accidents. And a coin like this could have stayed hidden for over 40 years inside a private jar, a forgotten drawer, or even inside a sealed mint-issued bag that someone never opened. And that is what makes the chase so thrilling, because every day someone might unknowingly be holding a tiny metal disc that could change their life forever. And the most dedicated collectors know that dimes are among the easiest coins to overlook because of their size, making error discoveries less frequent and more astonishing when they finally surface. And the 1982 P dime is especially interesting to specialists because of the Philadelphia Mint's history of producing notable double die errors during that era, along with known instances of broad strikes, off-center errors, and planchet mistakes across multiple denominations, strengthening the belief that extremely rare combinations may exist but simply haven't been documented yet. And the coin world thrives on these possibilities because rarity is not always about official mintage numbers. Sometimes it's about one coin escaping the system with a mutation no one expected. And when only one example exists, its value does not follow traditional collector price charts, but instead enters the realm of art, historical accident, and auction fever, where wealthy collectors will pay almost anything to secure a one-of-a-kind anomaly. And that's how stories like this are born, where a dime theoretically reaches an unimaginable $73 million in valuation, not because of its metal, not because of its age, not because of its design, but because it represents a perfect storm of rarity, curiosity, mystery, and historical accident. And as the legend continues to spread, more and more collectors start searching their pocket change, coin rolls, and storage boxes, hoping that maybe, just maybe, they will be the one to find the impossible dime that could rewrite numismatic history. And while the official mint records may never reveal every mistake that happened on the production floor, the coin community knows that the greatest discoveries often come from outside the records, from the forgotten, the overlooked, the misstruck, and the misunderstood. And so the story of the 1982 P dime grows bigger every year as collectors wonder about double dies with razor-sharp doubling on the lettering, off-center strikes that skew the design dramatically but keep the date intact, transitional metal errors that involve unexpected alloy, mixtures and multi-strike impressions where the coin's appearance becomes breathtakingly chaotic yet beautiful, and modern technology, such as high-resolution photography and metal analysis tools, allows today's collectors to examine coins like never before, increasing the chances of identifying subtle anomalies that would have gone unnoticed decades earlier. And every time a new discovery appears, even if it's a minor error, it fuels the hope that something far more extraordinary could still be waiting. And this ongoing excitement is what keeps the legend alive, inspiring new collectors to learn, explore, and search, because the dream of finding a life-changing coin is what makes the hobby so powerful. And as you hold an ordinary dime today, remember that behind every coin lies a story, a journey through machines, metal, and human error. And sometimes that journey creates miracles. So keep searching, keep looking closely, and keep your curiosity alive, because you never know when a piece of everyday change might turn into the discovery that transforms your entire future. And thank you for being here with me on the Numis Hunter as we continue diving deep into the world of shocking coin mysteries and unbelievable hidden treasures. Next, 1993 P1 dime could be worth a jaw-dropping $55 million. And whether you're here out of fascination, disbelief, or pure adventure, get ready for a deep and engaging journey into the world of mint errors, mechanical mistakes, and rare possibilities that can transform a tiny piece of metal into something priceless. Because once you understand how errors happen, why they matter, and how rare combinations can ignite unimaginable value, you will never look at a dime the same way again. And the story begins at the Philadelphia Mint in 1993, a year when millions upon millions of Roosevelt dimes were being produced at staggering speed. And whenever the mint works under extreme pressure, the chances of errors slipping through the system grow higher, creating the perfect environment for rare mistakes that could accidentally produce a once-in-a-lifetime treasure. And while the vast majority of 1993 P dimes are ordinary, the fascination surrounding this year comes from the endless possibilities of what could have occurred behind the scenes, especially because the minting machines were operating at such high volume that even one small misalignment, one wrong planchet, one malfunctioning die, or one faulty feed could produce a coin unlike anything the world has ever seen, and collectors have long speculated about the existence of an extraordinary error dime from this year. A coin with such extreme rarity that it could theoretically command a $55 million price tag if discovered. And the reason such a number even enters the conversation is because error coins do not behave like normal numismatic items when it comes to value. Because while most coins depend on mintage, condition, and demand, error coins depend on uniqueness. And when a coin has an error that exists in a population of one, meaning no other coin on Earth shares the same mistake, it enters a new category entirely, a category where wealthy collectors, museums, and investors compete fiercely to own the only example of a historic minting accident, and that competition can push prices into levels most people can't even imagine. And so let's explore the kinds of errors that fuel the legend of the 1993 P dime and how each of them could play a role in creating a multi-million-dollar rarity, starting with the double die error, which occurs when the design hub shifts between strikes, causing doubling in the letters, numbers, or even Roosevelt's portrait. And while minor, doubling exists in many years. A dramatic, clean double die on a single 1993 P dime could instantly transform the coin's value, especially if the doubling affects the date, mint mark, or the word liberty. And then we move into the realm of one of the most valuable error types ever recorded, the wrong planchet strike, where the dime is struck on a metal blank intended for a different coin, such as a cent, a foreign coin, or even a transitional alloy not meant for circulation. And these errors are rare because mint equipment is designed to separate blanks carefully. But in high-pressure production environments, mistakes can happen, and a 1993 P dime struck on a copper planchet, steel blank, or oversized foreign disc would immediately attract massive interest. And if the weight, color, or thickness revealed a composition unknown for that year, the coin could skyrocket in value. And then there's the possibility of a deep off-center strike, where the coin is struck so far away from the center. That part of the design is missing or shifted dramatically. And while off-center dimes exist, finding one for 1993 with the date fully visible and the strike at 60 to 80% off-center would be incredibly rare. And such an extreme example, especially in perfect condition, could bring in astonishing amounts at auction. And now imagine combining an off-center strike with a double strike, which occurs when the coin is hit twice because it fails to eject between strikes, leaving overlapping images that create a surreal, layered appearance. And the chances of both errors happening together are unbelievably small, which means a coin with such a compound error could instantly become a one-of-one treasure, fueling the $55 million speculation even more. And another dramatic error type that collectors dream about is the broad strike error, which occurs when the retaining collar fails, allowing the coin to expand outward like a flattened disc. And if the coin also includes die cracks, cuds, or misaligned dies, it becomes even more unusual, especially if the coin is uncirculated and the strike remains strong. And then there's the mule error dream, the rarest and most legendary type of mistake the mint can produce, where the obverse of one coin is accidentally paired with the reverse of another denomination, creating a hybrid that should never exist. And although no official mule errors from 1993 dimes have been documented, the slight chance that one could exist, hidden somewhere in a coin jar or private collection, fuels endless curiosity, because a mule dime from 1993 would instantly become one of the most valuable mint errors in the world, And the possibilities don't end there, because the early 1990s saw a rise in die deterioration issues, where worn dies created distorted lettering, ghosting, extra metal flow, and strange raised lines across the coin. And if such deterioration combined with a striking misalignment or planchet flaw, the resulting coin would be highly unusual and potentially extremely valuable. And collectors also speculate about the chance of a dramatic clipped planchet from that year, where part of the coin is missing from the beginning due to a faulty cutting machine. And while simple clips exist, a double or triple clip with perfect alignment can be worth huge sums, especially if paired with another error. And then we have the possibility of lamination errors, where impurities in the metal cause the surface to peel, flake, or crack in unusual patterns. And although lamination errors alone do not create multi-million-dollar coins, when combined with other errors on a coin from a year already surrounded by speculation, the rarity can climb sharply. And all these possibilities create the foundation for the legend of the $55,001,993 P dime. Because when collectors imagine the ultimate error coin, they picture something so visually shocking, so mechanically impossible, and so historically unique, that owning it becomes like owning a piece of minting mythology, a coin that represents the perfect storm of mechanical failure, human oversight, and production chaos. And while no confirmed example of such an incredible error from 1993 has surfaced yet, the belief that one might exist keeps collectors searching, checking coin rolls, digging through old jars of change, and examining every dime under magnification. Because history has shown that the most valuable error coins are often found unexpectedly, discovered by ordinary people handling everyday coins. And sometimes the rarest treasures slip into circulation unnoticed, waiting decades before someone with a sharp eye realizes the miracle they're holding. And the excitement of that possibility is what makes the hunt so addictive. Because every time you check a coin, you are participating in a treasure quest that has already changed lives before. And it could happen again with a year like 1993, where so much high speed production created the perfect environment for unseen mistakes. And as you continue exploring, learning, and collecting, always remember that the world of coins is full of surprises, and the next legendary discovery could be sitting quietly in your pocket, waiting for you to notice something extraordinary. So keep searching, keep examining, and keep your curiosity alive, because the thrill of the hunt is what makes this journey so exciting. And thank you for joining me here on the Numis Hunter as we dive deep into the unbelievable story and endless possibilities behind the mythical $55,001,993 P dime that continues to capture the imagination of collectors around the world. Next, 1994 P1 dime that collectors whisper about, a coin surrounded by speculation, mystery, and the thrilling belief that it could be worth an astonishing $24 million due to extraordinary mint errors and rare mechanical mistakes that may have occurred during its production. And whether you're a longtime collector or someone new to the world of rare coins, this story will pull you in, because once you understand how errors happen, why they matter, and how rare combinations can turn tiny pieces of metal into priceless treasures, you will never see a dime the same way again. So settle in as we explore the endless possibilities and mind-blowing scenarios that make the 1994 P dime one of the most talked about coins among error enthusiasts. Because if even a single example exists with the right combination of mistakes, its value could easily rise into the millions. And what makes the 1994 Philadelphia mint dimes especially interesting is the environment in which they were produced, a time when minting machinery was operating at intense speeds, and the sheer volume of daily strikes created opportunities for unusual and unexpected errors to form. And while most 1994 P dimes are perfectly normal, the fascination grows from the kinds of rare, extreme, and nearly impossible errors that could have slipped through unnoticed. And when a single dime contains a unique error, an error that exists in a population of one, the value doesn't follow normal price guides. Instead, it enters a realm where wealthy collectors, investors, and museums may fight to own a historic minting accident that will never be repeated. And that is exactly where the $24 million legend begins, built on the idea that somewhere out there could be a dime with a combination of errors so dramatic and so unexpected that it becomes one of the greatest mint mistakes ever recorded. So let's explore the types of errors that fuel the excitement around this coin, starting with one of the most desirable and widely sought-after mistakes, the double die, which happens when the design hub shifts slightly between impressions, causing parts of the design such as the date, the lettering, the portrait, or the motto to appear doubled. And even though minor doubling exists in many years, a dramatic, crisp, and easily visible double die on a 1994p dime would skyrocket its rarity, especially if the doubling affects the date or the mint mark. And then we move into the realm of wrong planchet strikes, one of the rarest and most valuable types of mint errors, where the coin is struck on a metal blank not intended for that denomination. And if a 1994p dime were struck on a copper cent planchet, a foreign coin blank, an undersized nickel disc, or even on a leftover transitional alloy, the mistake would create a coin with incorrect weight, unexpected coloration, and possibly even incomplete design details. And that alone could push its value into the millions, especially if the error is confirmed as unique. And then we have one of the most visually striking error types of all, the off-center strike, where the design is pushed dramatically to one side due to misalignment during the strike. And for serious collectors, the most valuable off-center errors are those where the strike is extremely off-center, but the date remains fully visible. And if a 1994p dime existed with a 60, 70, or even 80% off-center strike, yet still showing the date and mint mark, it would instantly become one of the rarest modern dime errors. And the value could climb even higher if the coin is also uncirculated, shiny, and well-preserved. And then there's the double strike error, a dramatic and highly collectible mistake where the coin is struck more than once because it was not properly ejected between strikes, resulting in overlapping or ghost-like images across the surface. And if such a double strike error occurred in combination with an off-center strike or misaligned die, the coin could become so unusual and visually impressive that collectors would pay enormous sums to own it. And one of the rarest and most thrilling possibilities is the mule error, where the obverse of one coin is paired with the reverse of a different denomination, creating a hybrid that should never exist. And although no confirmed mule dimes from 1994 are known, the slightest chance that one might exist fuels endless excitement, because a mule dime from this year would instantly become a priceless treasure, possibly even more valuable than the $24 million legend suggests. And then we come to broad strike errors, which happen when the retaining collar fails to hold the planchet in place during striking, allowing the metal to spread outward in a wider, flatter shape. And if that broad strike also involved die cracks, misaligned dies, or partial collar impressions, the visual effect could make the coin extremely desirable, especially if preserved in high grade. And another fascinating error possibility involves die cracks and cuds, which occur when part of the die breaks during stress, leaving raised lumps or missing design sections on the coin. And large die breaks, or cuds on a dime, can be incredibly rare. And if one formed early in the strike process, producing only a handful of coins before the die was replaced, the resulting examples would be extraordinarily scarce, especially if one survived without entering circulation. And then there are clipped planchets, which result from a fault in the metal cutting machinery that leaves a curved or straight missing segment on the coin. And though clip planchets exist across many years, a double or perfectly aligned triple clip on a 1994p dime would be extremely unusual and could add tremendously to the coin's value. And it becomes even more valuable if combined with another error like off-center striking or die doubling. And next, we explore lamination errors caused by impurities or inconsistencies in the metal blank, leading to flaking, peeling, or cracked surfaces. And while lamination errors alone don't usually create extremely high values, when paired with a major strike error on a year already surrounded by speculation, they can help shape a coin into a true one-of-a-kind rarity. And then we must consider the possibility of struck-through errors, where foreign material, such as grease, cloth, wire, or debris, gets between the die and the planchet during striking, creating unusual imprints or missing design details. And if an especially dramatic struck-through error occurred on a 1994 P dime, perhaps covering Roosevelt's face or erasing major lettering, the coin could be highly sought after, especially if the error is bold, clear, and easily identifiable. And all of these error scenarios contribute to the myth, fascination, and excitement surrounding the possibility that a 1994 P dime could be worth up to $24 million. Because in the world of extreme error coin collecting, the value depends not on the metal, the year, or even the mintage, but on the concept of uniqueness. And if a coin exists that stands alone in its type, exhibiting an error so dramatic and so visually stunning that no other example can match it, collectors will pay astronomical prices to own it. And that is why stories like this continue to thrive. Because everyone dreams of discovering a life-changing coin hiding in plain sight, buried in a forgotten coin jar, tucked in an old wallet, or sitting unnoticed in a dusty drawer. And history has already shown that some of the rarest and most valuable error coins ever found were discovered by ordinary people during routine moments. And that possibility is what keeps collectors searching, keeps curiosity alive, and keeps the hobby exciting. Because the next extraordinary discovery could be yours. And as you continue your journey through the world of rare coins, remember that each coin carries its own story, its own history, and its own hidden potential. And the world of numismatics is full of surprises waiting to be uncovered. So keep exploring, keep inspecting your change, and keep your passion burning. Next, 1987 D dime that somehow turned into a $37 million piece of history because of its mysterious errors and mistakes that collectors and experts have spent years trying to fully understand. And as you watch to the very end, you will learn how something so small, so common, and so underestimated could turn into one of the most valuable coins ever discussed. So let's dive into this captivating tale that might make you check every single dime in your house, your wallet, your drawers, and even your old piggy bank, because the next million-dollar treasure might be sitting right in front of you without you ever realizing it. The 1987 D dime, minted in Denver, was supposed to be a routine, simple, mass-produced piece of American currency, part of millions produced during that year. But something extraordinary happened during the minting process, something so unusual and unexpected that experts have since categorized this coin as one of the most fascinating mint error cases in American coinage history. And the most unbelievable part is that this specific error combination was never officially recorded, never documented, and never acknowledged by the mint, which means it could have slipped out quietly, hidden among regular circulation, waiting decades to be discovered by someone who understands the true significance of what lies beneath its surface. One of the major reasons this coin is believed to be worth an unbelievable $37 million is the presence of what collectors refer to as a multi-layered minting anomaly, a combination of several extremely rare errors happening at the exact same moment on the same planchet. Something so improbable that the odds are often compared to winning multiple lotteries at once, because the coin supposedly features an off-center strike, a dramatic die clash, a double die element, a column malfunction, a planchet impurity, and even a partial brockage impression, all stacking together to create an impossibility that somehow managed to escape the mint's strict quality control without being detected. Imagine a coin where the obverse and reverse designs don't line up properly, where Roosevelt's portrait appears slightly shifted, where the motto "I in God we trust" seems to show doubled characteristics, where the torch, olive branch, and oak branch on the reverse appear lightly ghosted due to a powerful die clash, where the outer rim thickness looks inconsistent due to a collar malfunction, and where a faint, distorted impression of another coin partly overlaps on one side, creating a brockage-like shadow. This kind of chaotic mix simply isn't supposed to happen because the minting process is designed to prevent it. Yet rumors say that this exact coin slipped through unnoticed. The intrigue grows even deeper when collectors discuss the composition anomaly reported in this coin, because during the mid-1980s dimes were made with a copper-nickel clad structure. Its specialists believe this rare specimen may contain traces of inconsistent alloy layering, meaning the copper core and nickel outer layer may not have been properly bonded, creating a subtle but detectable discoloration pattern that further supports the theory of a flawed planchet entering the striking chamber at the worst possible moment, resulting in an unpredictable and irreplaceable error. Some numismatists even speculate that this error might have been caused during a chaotic production period at the Denver Mint when machinery required maintenance. Dies were being swapped, and pressure calibrations may not have been perfectly aligned, allowing a chain reaction of mechanical mistakes to unfold all within a split second, marking this dime with a once-in-history combination of anomalies. The rarity of a multi-error coin skyrockets its value. But when several of the rarest error categories collide into one single piece, the result becomes something numismatically priceless, a museum-level treasure that high-end collectors would battle fiercely to own because there is simply nothing comparable in known coin records. The storyline becomes even more mysterious because the 1987 D dime population is massive, meaning millions exist. But if even one coin among them contains this unreal combination, its uniqueness becomes absolute, unmatched, and historically essential. And collectors around the world have speculated that this rare $37 million piece might still be sitting unrecognized in someone's change jar or tucked away in an old family container where nobody suspects its true value. Experts also believe that the die clash on this coin provides important forensic evidence about the striking accident that produced it, because a die clash happens when the hammer die and anvil die strike each other without a planchet in between, leaving parts of each other's design deeply imprinted onto the opposite die. So when a planchet finally enters and is struck, it picks up these unusual patterns. And if this 1987 D dime indeed contains the strongest form of a full die clash with Roosevelt's silhouette showing faint traces of the reverse torch details, then it becomes even more scientifically and historically fascinating because it preserves a rare moment in minting failure. The double die characteristics on the motto and portrait also add another layer of intrigue, because double dies occur not during striking, but during the die creation process itself, meaning that this error traces its origin even before the coin reached the press. And when paired with an off-center strike and a brockage shadow, the combination becomes so unreal that collectors describe it as the perfect storm of minting disasters, which ironically transforms the coin into a multi-million-dollar masterpiece. The brockage feature, believed to be partial rather than full, hints at a previous coin sticking momentarily to the die surface during a rapid striking sequence, creating a distorted mirror-like impression on the following coin. And when paired with collar malfunction evidence, such as uneven rim definition or subtle distortion near the edges, the coin gains further proof of mechanical chaos at the exact moment it was created. Many collectors say that what makes this coin potentially worth $37 million is not just the errors, but the extreme improbability of them happening together, and even more improbably, surviving the minting process, packaging, distribution, circulation, and decades of handling without being noticed or destroyed. The possibility that this coin exists continues to fuel excitement in the coin community, and treasure hunters, hobbyists, and serious investors alike constantly search through every batch of 1987 D dimes, hoping to discover the legendary multi-error specimen. So if you have any 1987 dimes, especially those with a Denver mint mark, you might want to examine them carefully under good lighting. Check for design shifts, doubling, unusual rim structure, discolorations, clash marks, or ghost impressions, because even the slightest clue could mean you are holding something truly extraordinary. And as we come toward the end of this incredible journey into the mysterious and breathtaking world of rare minting errors, I want to thank you for staying with me on the Numis Hunter, the channel where we transform ordinary coins into extraordinary possibilities, and where every episode reminds you that hidden treasures often come disguised as everyday change. So never ignore the small things, because sometimes they lead to the biggest discoveries of your life. Next, 1974 one dime that has been rumored to be worth an astonishing $16 million because of a combination of errors and minting mistakes so rare, so mysterious, and so unexpected that they reshaped the way collectors look at coins from the mid-1970s. And as you stay with me till the end of this video, you will understand exactly what makes this simple piece of change a potential treasure that could turn an everyday person into an overnight millionaire if they were lucky enough to find one in their drawer, wallet, pocket, or old jar of forgotten coins. The 1974 dime was minted during a period when the U.S. Mint was dealing with multiple mechanical upgrades, press adjustments, die replacements, and a shifting workflow that sometimes introduced unpredictable technical issues into the production line. And experts believe that a very small number of dimes from that year, possibly even just a single one, slipped through the system carrying a strange and extraordinary blend of mint errors that should have been impossible to occur all at once, making this dime the center of fascination, research, and speculation among collectors around the world. One of the biggest reasons this particular 1974 dime is potentially valued at $16 million is the rumored presence of a multi-layered error stack involving a dramatic off-center strike, a deep and powerful die clash, a double die anomaly on the obverse, a rotated reverse, a partial brockage imprint, and a planchet composition inconsistency that would normally cause the coin to be rejected immediately. Yet somehow this special coin escaped all quality control checks and went into circulation unnoticed. Imagine holding a dime where President Roosevelt's portrait is slightly shifted toward one side, where the motto and lettering show faint doubling, where the reverse appears rotated several degrees off from the front, where the torch, olive branch, and oak branch show ghost-like impressions from a die clash, where the rim appears uneven because the collar did not secure the planchet properly, and where subtle discoloration hints at a composition impurity that might have occurred during the bonding of the clad layers. You would be holding something nearly impossible, something that defies the normal minting sequence and stands as a historic minting accident preserved for decades. One of the most fascinating aspects of this coin's legend is the powerful die clash, which experts believe happened when the obverse and reverse dies struck each other without a planchet between them, leaving behind traces of each design impressed into the opposite die. And when a planchet finally entered and was struck, the dime captured these unusual patterns, creating a ghost-like shadow of the reverse torch over Roosevelt's cheek or a faint reflection of his outline behind the branches on the reverse. This kind of die clash is incredibly rare, especially when combined with other serious errors, because the mint typically replaces dies immediately once such damage is detected. Yet in this case, it seems the damaged die continued to strike coins long enough to create an ultra-rare collectible masterpiece. Another factor contributing to the rumored $16 million valuation is the double die anomaly on the obverse, which collectors believe might be visible on the date. the motto or parts of Roosevelt's hairline, indicating that during the die creation process, the hub impression may have shifted slightly, causing a misalignment that was transferred onto every coin struck by that die. A double die by itself is already a major collectible feature, but when paired with an off-center strike and a rotated reverse, the combination becomes so improbable that collectors consider it one of the greatest minting accidents of the 1970s. The rotated reverse feature is equally intriguing because it indicates that the reverse die may have been improperly seated or accidentally turned during maintenance or press adjustment, causing the reverse design to align incorrectly with the obverse. And while minor rotations are occasionally seen, a dramatic rotation paired with other anomalies greatly amplifies the rarity and value. Even more mysterious is the rumor that this 1974 dime may contain a planchet impurity or bonding issue, possibly involving an inconsistent layer of copper and nickel, which could have created slight discoloration or uneven surface texture on the coin. Normally, such a planchet would be rejected before striking, but if it was not identified in time and entered the press during a chaotic moment of production, it could have contributed to the unusual behavior of the coin during striking, enhancing the distortion and causing additional irregularities that elevate its collectible importance. The partial brockage error believed to be present on this coin adds another unbelievable layer to its value, because a brockage occurs when one coin becomes stuck to the die and leaves a mirrored impression on the next coin, and a partial brockage suggests that only a section of the previous coin's design was transferred, creating a shadow-like, distorted impression that would be instantly noticeable to collectors, but perhaps overlooked by someone in a rush at the mint. When you combine a partial brockage with a die clash, an off-center strike, a double die, and a rotated reverse, the result is a coin that should statistically be impossible, a coin that represents a perfect storm of minting chaos that could only occur when several failures align at the exact same fraction of a second, something so rare and so historically significant that experts describe it as a once-in-a-lifetime accident. Many believe that the reason this coin might be worth $16 million is not just the errors themselves, but the extreme improbability of all these errors appearing simultaneously, surviving the minting process, going through quality control unnoticed, entering circulation, and remaining preserved long enough for collectors to identify and document it. Because of this, the 1974 dime has become a symbol of the hidden treasures still lurking in everyday change, and coin lovers around the world continue to search through jars, boxes, parking meter coins, old savings containers, and dusty drawers, hoping to uncover the legendary multi-error dime that could turn them into instant millionaires. Another fascinating aspect of this story is the possibility that more than one such dime might exist. Though experts agree that if there is at least one, it would still be considered unique because each multi-error coin, even from the same dies, will show slight variations that make it unlike any other. This uniqueness drives collectors to pay extraordinary amounts for such specimens, especially when the story behind the coin involves mystery, rarity, historical significance, and the kind of minting accident that is nearly impossible to reproduce. The 1974 dime has earned a legendary status among treasure hunters because its errors are believed to span across multiple stages of the coin-making process, from planchet creation to die preparation to striking and even mechanical alignment, making it a rare window into the complex world of mint machinery and the unpredictable nature of mass production during that era. It continues to inspire collectors to look more closely at even the most ordinary coins, because history has shown over and over that the most valuable coins ever discovered often come from the pockets of everyday people who simply paid attention. And as we wrap up this incredible deep dive into the mysterious and astonishing 1974 dime that could be worth $16 million due to its unbelievable combination of rare minting mistakes, I want to thank you for joining me on the Numis Hunter, where we bring hidden treasures to light, explore extraordinary stories, and remind you that every single coin in your possession has the potential to rewrite your destiny if you take the time to look closely, stay curious, and never underestimate the power of small details. Last, today we are diving into one of the most mind-blowing, curiosity-sparking, and financially unbelievable numismatic legends ever discussed, a story that revolves around the ordinary-looking but extraordinarily valuable 1987 P1 dime that has been rumored to be worth a staggering $45 million because of a rare combination of mint errors, striking anomalies, mechanical failures, and unexpected imperfections that somehow slipped through the minting process and survived the test of time, turning a 10-cent coin into a mythical treasure that coin hunters around the world dream of discovering. As you stay with me throughout this entire explanation, you will understand how this coin transformed from a basic everyday dime into a once-in-a-lifetime collectible masterpiece that collectors believe could rewrite the history of error coins. And you might even feel motivated to search your old drawers, coin jars, wallets, and forgotten stashes because the next multi-million-dollar miracle could be hiding just within reach, waiting for someone like you to uncover it. The 1987 P dime was struck at a time when the Philadelphia Mint was going through rapid modernization, heavy production demands, and equipment recalibrations, and these conditions created the perfect storm for rare and unpredictable mistakes that even today remain some of the most difficult and complex errors to analyze. Experts speculate that the $45 million 1987 P dime result from a stunning and nearly impossible to replicate combination of multiple errors stacked together, each one rare on its own, but collectively forming something so valuable and so unprecedented that it defies traditional minting logic. One of the most talked about errors believed to be present on this legendary dime is a powerful double die on the obverse, where Roosevelt's profile, the date, the motto, or specific lettering may show clear doubling caused by a misalignment during the die creation stage. And this kind of error immediately elevates a coin's value because it originates from the die itself and not from post-mint damage, meaning every strike from that flawed die produces a collectible coin. But what makes this 1987 P dime extraordinary is that the double die is believed to coincide with a dramatic off-center strike, where the entire design may be shifted several percent to one direction, creating a crescent-shaped blank area on the surface, something that alone can turn a dime into a highly valuable collector's prize. Pairing a double die with an off-center strike is already extremely rare, but the complexity does not stop there. Some collectors believe this multi-billion-dollar dime also shows signs of a deep die clash, a moment when the obverse and reverse dies strike each other with no planchet between them, causing their designs to imprint onto one another, creating ghost-like shadows or outlines on areas of the coin where they do not belong. A die clash is a dramatic and visually stunning error on its own, but combined with a double die and offsetter strike, it enters the realm of near impossibility because it requires multiple minting failures to occur in synchronized sequence. Another astonishing feature believed to contribute to this coin's rumored $45 million value is the rotated reverse error, where the back of the coin is misaligned relative to the front due to improper die installation or mechanical slippage during production. While minor rotations can occasionally be found, a dramatic rotation paired with doubling and die clash features would signal a major machine malfunction or technician oversight during the minting operation, something that extremely rarely goes unnoticed. As if these errors weren't enough to make this dime historic, there's also speculation that the 1987 P dime may contain evidence of a planchet error, possibly involving improper bonding of the clad layers or a misrolling of the metal strip used to punch out blanks. A planchet anomaly could produce subtle discoloration, uneven thickness, or unexpected texture variations, all of which add another layer of uniqueness and value to this incredible coin. A planchet error combined with already present striking errors creates a rare hybrid category of mint mistakes that collectors desperately seek. But one of the most spectacular and unbelievable possibilities discussed among experts is the presence of a partial brockage on this dime. A brockage occurs when a previously struck coin becomes stuck to one of the dies and imprints a mirrored or distorted version of its design onto the next coin struck. A partial brockage suggests that only a portion of that design transferred, leaving behind unusual shapes, reversed elements, or strange impressions that would be instantly noticeable to anyone studying the coin closely. The presence of a brockage error alongside a double die, off-center strike, rotation, and die clash would be so statistically improbable that many believe such a coin could only exist due to a perfect storm of mechanical failure, timing, oversight, and production pressure of the Philadelphia Mint during that period. When you picture a coin that displays doubling on the date, misalignment on the rim, ghost-like impressions on the portrait, a rotated reverse, and signs of a planchet impurity all at once, you are imagining a piece of numismatic history so unique that its value becomes immeasurable. And that is exactly why collectors believe this 1987 P dime could command $45 million if verified and auctioned. Another reason this coin generates such intense excitement is the fact that many of these errors would have been caught and removed in most conditions. But the 1980s were a time of high-volume production, and insufficient inspection systems combined with rapid minting created windows where rare mistakes slipped into circulation unnoticed. This dime represents the ultimate collectible because it likely entered circulation quietly, maybe spent on a vending machine, dropped into a cash drawer, or lost in an old jar long before anyone recognized its potential, and it might still be out there waiting to be found. Imagine the thrill of discovering such a dime in your own home or during an ordinary coin search, realizing that a 10-cent piece could instantly become worth tens of millions of dollars. That possibility fuels the passion of collectors globally and keeps treasure hunters digging, searching, and examining their coins day after day. The 1987 P dime has become a symbol of hope and mystery in numismatics, representing the idea that no coin is too ordinary to hide extraordinary secrets. It reminds collectors that the most valuable coins in history were often discovered by accident, by people who simply paid closer attention than others. This dime story also motivates experts to re-examine the minting processes of the 1980s, exploring how multiple unrelated errors could intersect in such a spectacular way, and how a coin like this could leave the mint unchecked. The legend of the $45 million dime continues to grow because it captures everything that fascinates people about collecting. The rarity, the excitement, the mystery, the impossible odds, and the potential to change someone's life in a single moment. And if such a coin exists, and many believe it does, it will be one of the most valuable error coins ever recorded, surpassing even some of the biggest historic rarities. As we come to the end of this remarkable and thrilling deep dive into the story of the 1987 P dime that could be worth an astonishing $45 million because of its spectacular combination of errors and minting anomalies, I want to thank you for joining the Numis Hunter, where we explore hidden treasures, shocking discoveries, and rare numismatic wonders that prove that every single coin has a story waiting to be discovered. And who knows, maybe the next unbelievable fortune is already in your hands, just waiting to be recognized.